I'm very happy to move to a very positive phase and story now, and I'm happy to see Mel here, Mel Stephenson-Gray from England. Mel, you are joining us. You're, of course, a very well-known face in the diabetes community, usually joining us as the athlete with diabetes, which you still are. But you're going to talk about something slightly different today, because I think the biggest change in your life is that you're no longer alone. So welcome to Docday.
Thank you so much, Bastian, and thank you for putting on a fantastic workshop. So it's my pleasure to speak to everyone today about kind of how my life has changed to become a mum with type 1 diabetes. So really, I just kind of want to give a bit of an insight, really, because it's something that is really not spoken about, or it's spoken about very quietly in circles. But I think it's something that needs more awareness raising, really, and certainly more research. So with regards to my own pregnancy, my diabetes team, perhaps quite unromantically, said that they were the first ones that needed to know if I was planning pregnancy, because I needed things like a higher dose of folic acid to protect the baby from defects, and also, sorry, you can hear it giggling in the background, and also to get my HbA1c into a place that would hopefully reduce the risk of complications later on. So I worked for about a year or so just to kind of try and get that kind of really tight HbA1c control or management. And then I was fortunate enough to become pregnant and let my diabetes team know. And it was incredibly, from day one, it was incredibly hard work. The best thing I've ever done, but also the hardest, because the parameters for my blood glucose levels going into meals needed to be really tight. Also, coming out of meals within an hour of eating the meal, my blood glucose levels needed to be in a really tight range. And what you can't prepare for when you live with type 1 and become pregnant is the level of insulin resistance, which really works against you to try and, you're trying to get your glucose levels down, and that insulin resistance is working, in the other direction. So I found as well that I needed to exercise quite frequently. So I had to adapt my exercise from training really frequently for sprinting to doing things like spinning after I'd had a meal, or going for a walk as well. And the other thing that was really important to focus on was my nutrition. That I was really lucky that in the UK we have a conference called the Type 1 in Tech Conference, and I've really been championing to have experts speak on pregnancy and nutrition there, because of course with diabetes, carbohydrates have such a huge impact on our blood glucose levels that can't be ignored. So I worked to kind of, rather than becoming a low carber, I would say that I was having moderate amounts of carbohydrate spread throughout the day with a balanced diet as well, to try and maintain my HbA1c, my glucose levels, and the health of the baby. I did give birth early due to, I suppose, kind of slightly diabetes-related complications, but the baby came out really safely. She's a little wonder, and she's absolutely thriving. The other thing that I would mention that is quite challenging with diabetes and pregnancy is breastfeeding as well. The only way I can describe it was that I had to approach it as if I was doing sport, because of the sheer amount of energy that you use up in trying to produce the milk to feed the baby. So again, there was a spotlight on nutrition, and diabetes management still was incredibly important, but all of a sudden you've also got this little life to look after too. So I was really grateful for diabetes technology to help kind of manage the condition in the background as well, so I could give my focus and attention for her. And it has been a challenge, of course, getting back to physical activity after the birth. But I think one of the things that it was important for me to remember, and I kind of kept telling myself, was that there was no rush, that I could get back to sport when the time was right for my body, for the baby as well, because I wanted to enjoy my time with her, and I didn't want to have the pressure of having to to kind of to go back to training 6 days a week, or for my body to look a certain way. It was just about health and recovery. So I was really glad that I had the opportunity this weekend just gone to run my first 10K race, just as a level of fitness really, and for my daughter to see me running and to be able to show her that you can achieve anything you put your mind to, really, regardless of whether you've got diabetes or not. So even though, as I say, it's been the hardest journey I've ever been on, it's also been the most rewarding, going through diabetes and pregnancy. If you've got any questions, if there's anything that you'd like to know about in more detail, I'm quite open in talking about this on my social media, which is Life Sport Diabetes.
Mel, thank you very much. Such a beautiful story. And the reason we wanted you here is to have, after this more dire and hard topics, have a beautiful smile and a beautiful story with a new life here at Docday, but also because you have learned so much. You have been investing so much energy also in making sure everything is going right. You come from a very competitive background in your sports career, and you're, as I saw on social media, going back that way. And you are so, as you said yourself, so open to talk about this. So anybody out there watching Docday, thinking about becoming a mother and or becoming a father, or wanting to be supportive to a mother with diabetes, you can reach out to Mel and read up on her story and hopefully learn a lot and make sure that the baby and mom will be great just as you are. Mel, thank you very, very much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.